Hello, dear. Hello, 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 hello. I hope you're doing well. Good. That's great to hear. So, I assume you're here for the consultation appointment about the negative energy that you think is accumulating down your back. So, specifically in your spine, correct? Yes. Okay. And then why do you think that that's where the negative energy is collecting? Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, that sounds pretty common. I've had quite a few patients who that's a similar thing that's happened to them. For sure. Yeah. Oh, of course, you poor thing. Makes it really tough to move around, right? You feel very heavy. Oh, yes. I've had quite a few patients who've been actually completely paralyzed from this type of disorder and just life situations hitting them quite literally and make it in the back and making it quite painful for them. Yeah, it's characterized as a disorder, but don't let that word deter you. It can be something that, while reoccurring for some people, can often be cured or at least mitigated with one single session. Sure. And so, how much do you know about our little clinic here? Okay, for sure. Well, why don't you just take a seat right there in the comfy chair behind you? Great. And then I'll give you a second to talk about what we do here. So at our negative energy clinic here, we specialize in removing the negative energy that collects in, particularly, as you know, the spine of our patients. We do have different departments that deal specifically with pain in the, the arms, the hands, the stomach even, the face, etc. Yeah, there's a department for each section, though unfortunately the negative energy collecting in the spine has become a bigger and bigger phenomenon. Yeah, it could do with just global stress, things happening in the world, people's lives being affected by a lot of change and personal struggles going on. And it's kind of this combination of personal and global struggles that combine to create this swirl of negative energy that clogs and compacts in whatever area or areas that you tend to hold, maybe your anger, your stress, your negative emotions in general. Yeah, and so that's why for a lot of people it is in the back. Yeah, otherwise, the face to the neck and the shoulders is the most frequent area that I see it in. Yeah. And so it's not anywhere else in your body, correct? It is just your back, as you're saying? Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you've got this pain occurring, but I'm glad at least that it's not spreading or relocated in different areas, because it does make it harder to treat, or it makes it harder to cure in a faster pace. If it's, say, in your head, maybe you're getting strong headaches. If it's moving then down to your legs, your arms, etc. So that's at least the one positive of it. Okay? Now, could you quickly tell me, as I'm just going to take a look at how you're holding yourself, don't adjust or anything, I just want to see how you carry yourself, okay? So as I do that, don't mind me if you're okay with me touching you. Great. I'm just going to go around and feel different parts of you, feel where you're holding the tension, particularly on your sides, and I'll reach to your back if that's okay. But again, as I'm doing that, could you please tell me when you started to notice this pain in your back, and if you think there's anything in particular that caused it? Okay. Yeah, I see. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Just hold up your arm a bit here, thank you. Just gonna feel around it. Good, put that back down. Right arm, please, thank you. Yeah. Oh, goodness. So you think it's about that time that it started? Okay. Just gonna reach around back here behind you, sorry. And how many days after was that? Okay, so not long after at all. I see. Well, I can see why you connected the dots then. For sure, for sure. Okay. Yes, sorry, don't mind me here. Just examining your posture still. Feeling all around. Okay, and how long has it been since you first noticed this? Okay. Yeah, okay, so you didn't wait too long. That is good. The sooner that our patients come in to us, the higher percentage, the likelihood that we can help cure them in a certain amount of time, or at least bring some amount of pain relief. Sorry, I'm gonna keep reaching behind you. Just feel down your back here. I can feel how tense your back is and how much your muscles have been tightening and contracting. Yeah. Is there any part that's the most sore? Okay. So let me feel. So right there. Okay, at the lower back, I see. So that's where you're holding most of that tension. Okay. But what about up here in the mid to the upper section? Okay, so yeah, that's what I suspected. You're holding this tension up in the upper and the mid section of your back, but it's mainly located in that lower lumbar section of your spine. Yes, for sure. Okay, well, my final question to you, as I do one last check over of you, is why did you come to our clinic in particular? Did you have an inkling that it was negative energy versus just being an intense muscle stress, contractions, things like that? Was there something that made you think that you should come to us first, or did you seek out some more traditional methods of assistance first? Okay. Okay, I see, yeah. So the massage therapy wasn't doing anything. Okay. Yeah, no, you don't have to apologize at all, dear. We are a very new scientific method, I guess we'd call it. It's pretty taboo, and so not a lot of people want to try it out and try to have the negative energy removed from these tense spots. But the more people like you decide to come and try out our clinic, the more that we can spread the word and be taken more seriously in the medical community. I appreciate you putting your health in my hands. Okay. Well, let me just show you with my diagram here quickly. This is the spine. This is the front view, and this is the back and side view. So this white part up here is the base of the skull, right back there. Is it okay if I poke you with this? It's very gentle. Thank you. So you feel right back there at the base of the skull. Yes. Okay, that's where this is. And then we're going down to the purple section. And this purple section is the cervical spot on your spine. Okay, so it starts right there at the base of the back of your neck and goes down to about there. It's quite a short section. It's only got 6 vertebrae. So it's C1 through 6. C1 through 6. Okay? So that's where you started to feel a little bit of the attention, a little bit of the pain. Oh yes, for sure, yeah. So these little yellow parts right here are just the nerve endings. So it's just showing you where the nerves are reaching out from. Okay, yeah, it's less applicable to what we're dealing with today. Thankfully, we're dealing with your spine and maybe not your nerves, because your nerves are much more complicated to deal with. Yes. Okay, then we move on down to the blue section here. This is the thoracic section of your spine. Okay, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sections of your thoracic spine. Okay, so that's from below the cervical down. It's the whole upper mid to mid section of your back here. Yes, down there. So that's where you said you started to feel that pain that started down there from the upper section. Yes, okay, for sure. And then we move on down to where you're feeling the most pain and collection of negative energy, and where we're going to be focusing our attention today, okay? So we're going to be focusing it on the lumbar section of your spine. The lumbar, okay? It is this green section here. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's L1 through 5. And down here, we've got the pelvic bones. Okay, and then your coccyx right at the bottom. So that's kind of where your tailbone, etc. is. Again, what we don't need to worry about dealing with today. So my plan of action, I think, with you today is we're going to focus on the lumbar section here and plucking and pulling all that negative energy out of there and trying to, if not removing all of it, at least lighten the amount of energy that's collected there. For some people, it's kind of like a swirling cloud. It's there, they can feel it, it's painful, but it's not as intense as others who have the negative energy collect on this end or this end of their spine somewhere, all along it, and almost like a hard lump. So the example I'll show you here is there's this, I don't know how well you can see it, there's this red little spot right here, and that's the example of when the negative energy has collected so strongly and either sat there for so long or has been formed through so much negative energy, negative pressures in your life, that it's created a physical blockage or mass on your spine. Oh, no. So don't worry. It is something that does not need to be surgically removed. It still is negative energy, so it still is something that we can kind of swirl our way out. Swirl our way out. kind of pulling, plucking, swirling, and removing it slowly to shrink the mass down to a smaller size. That is, while not a surgical procedure, is a more exhausting, lengthy medical method that would take multiple sessions. So when I go in to your negative energy on your spine here, I'm hoping to just see the swirl of negative energy and less so this hard lump and mass of negative energy. So we'll do an examination, examine your spine and that negative energy, see what the situation is, and hopefully we can remove all the negative energy that's in your lumbar section here today and not have to deal with planning ahead for a bigger session. Yeah, okay. Yeah, for sure. So then what we'll do is we will assess how the end of this session goes after we deal with your lumbar today. If it goes quite well and you call back in a couple days and you're not feeling the pain up here in your cervical and thoracic sections of your spine, then we will leave it and you can keep an eye on if there's any negative energy collecting there, or if it's light enough in these sections that they will dissipate on their own with the relief of the negative energy in the lumbar section. Okay. Does that sound okay? Do you have any questions for me before we begin on your lumbar section here? Okay, that's great. Well, why don't we get started? I'm going to get you to get more comfortable, but I'm going to have you put that gown on behind you there. Yes, right there. And if you're comfortable, if you could stand on the stool there so you're a little bit higher for me to reach that part of your back, and face the other way so that I can do a quick examination of it, okay? Okay, I'll leave for a moment for you so you can change, and I'll be right back. Thank you, dear. Good. Okay. Thank you, dear. Yeah, so turn around. Great. Good, good, good. Are you comfortable? You're okay with this? Fantastic. If you feel uncomfortable or like you need a break at any time, please let me know. Okay, great. So, let me just gently go around your back here. So, if you want to turn and just look for a second, I have this very peculiar looking device here. This is a type of crystal and mix of crystal. Technically, it's a mix of crystal and some obsidian, and it is created this very colorful type of device that can actually help me sense where the negative energy is collecting on your spine. Okay? While I can feel the negative energy with my hands, particularly if it does turn out to be that lump I was talking about, these devices are going to help me locate it. So all I have to do, I don't even have to touch you with them. All I have to do is move them down your spine here, like this. Okay. From the top down to the bottom. And it's just gonna kind of shake or warm or cool a little bit based on where the energy is, okay? So, as I go through, let's do a test here. So here, in the upper part of your back, I just have to pass it back and forth a couple times, especially for areas like the cervical spot in your spine, where you were saying that you weren't sensing so much negative energy. It may take some more time to get the devices to sense where it is. Okay. I'm feeling it cooling just a little bit, kind of on C3. nothing to be too worried about with your cervical part here of your spine. I think we can put that section on hold for now and see how the other parts of your spine are doing. Okay? Great. Moving on to your thoracic. So far it's the same. Not feeling any heat or cold changes with the devices here. No vibrations or anything. Right there's the tiniest bit of dip into a cold temperature, but that is pretty common, and if it's quite mild like that, okay, yeah, then I'm not too worried, don't worry. Good. Okay, and I'm not sensing anything else in this area. Good. Okay, dear. Now I'm going to move on finally to the lumbar section, okay? So just lean forward a little bit more, stretch out that spine for me. Great, thank you. Yeah, pretty immediately in this section I'm feeling some growing heat. It's not crazy intense. Nor does it seem to be located in any particular section. It just seems to be spread pretty equally over your entire lower back here. How's your back feeling at the moment? Pretty sore and achy. Okay. Well, that makes sense because these devices are picking up a good spread of negative energy that is collected all along your vertebrae here. Though, thankfully, it appears that there's no masses, I should say, of negative energy anywhere. No lumps that these can detect, no massive collections of negative energy. So that is a great sign. That is one good thing to take out of this, is that there is most likely a simpler fix to your back pain, okay? And we should hopefully have most of, not all, of it removed in this session. Okay, great. I'm gonna do a couple final passes here. 1, 2. Right. Go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, dear. I'm just going to be putting these gloves on here, okay? Before we move on to the next section of the process. You still feeling okay? Yeah, I know, it's probably pretty sore, huh? Well, that's why we're gonna remove as much as possible for you. Okay, great. Good. So I'm going to be wearing today, instead of the medical grade or rubber household gloves that you would see, I wear these special, almost canvasy material gloves. That are going to help me have a better sense of how much negative energy I'm grabbing, where I'm grabbing it, etc. It is a slightly newer technology of glove from our research department, but they have been proving quite effective at helping detect especially the lighter amounts of negative energy in our patients that are not so easily reachable. Okay. Excellent. So, if you're okay, I'm going to be going in for our final exam, our final little thing I need to do before we start plucking all that negative energy out. I'm just going to be going through and examining, kind of feeling up and down your spine, okay? If you're okay, I'm going to be actually touching you, because I just want to feel along your spine and make sure that there's no physical masses, excess heat, any injury, painful bruising, or anything that's on your back that you may not have noticed. It's kind of hard to see back there, especially on your lower back, so I want to make sure that there's nothing in terms of what the medical community would typically notice as being an issue that we would need to flag and make sure that that's not also another issue that's causing your back pain. Okay? Great. We're almost to the removal part. Don't you worry. Okay, let's begin here. You just stand up straight for me right now as I feel along your cervical vertebrae first. I'm going to be moving from the top to the bottom. Excellent. Please let me know if you feel any pain, soreness, etc. I'll keep an eye out and feel around for any lumps, like I was saying, or anything that I would have concern to worry about that doesn't just feel like the negative energy. Okay. And I'm just going to be, if it's okay, kind of just tightly pressing now more firmly along your spine, okay? In this section, just let me know if it's sore or anything. Feel okay, dear? Good. Moving along then to the center of your spine, the thoracic section here. Again, same method, going in and gently feeling along and down your spine here. Feeling any heat, lumps, bumps, etc. Okay, that's great. No issues there. How is that feeling in the middle? It's okay. Okay, a little bit sore. Gotcha. Okay. I'm not sensing anything, so that could be the negative energy. Okay, I'm going to do what I did again. Tight down the very center of your spine, okay? Just a couple more passes here. I'll make sure that I'm extra thorough. Good. And how was that? Okay. So again, a little more sore, but not that bad. So you were right in assuming that it was in your lower back, for sure. Okay. Could I get you just to bend forward a little bit for me? I just want to stretch out that lower spine of yours. Okay. That is great. Okay. Stay there, and then I'll be done soon so that you can stretch back up just a little bit, okay? Great, thank you. Just sense of everything here for you. Thankfully, I'm not feeling any physical heat as I touch your back here. It was just the heat from the devices picking up that negative energy along here. Just both sides a little bit more. Good. Excellent. And then moving on to the final bit. Down your spine again, okay? Ready? Bit sore, huh? Yeah. Sorry about that. Just a couple more. Is there anywhere particular that it's the most sore when I do that? Okay. Yeah. Kind of the whole area, I see. As I suspected, it's kind of spread out over your whole lower section here. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Good. It's all over now, dear. You can stand up straight for a second and take a break. Yeah, and I'm sorry. I'm sure it's quite sore. My intention wasn't to make it more painful. I'm sorry. But the good news is there doesn't seem to be any physical issues wrong. There's no physical masses, no bruising, scarring, etc. Okay, that's good. Alright, so well, thankfully now we can move on to the final part of the negative energy removal, okay? Let's get started and bring you some relief. Alright, so if you could stand just a little bit longer here, dear, we're gonna get started, okay? So I'm gonna first go in and do some long pulling, okay, of this negative energy. My goal with this is to grab it, pull it, and remove all the larger or longer sections from your back, okay? And then at the end, I'll be going in and plucking out any of the last little tidbits that are left behind. Okay? Let me know as I go through, okay? If you need a snack break, if you're exhausted. I do have patients sometimes who say that this process makes them either a little dizzy or exhausted. Now, whether or not that's because they hadn't enough to eat or drink depends, but just keep an eye out for that, okay? And be honest with me if you are experiencing any unusual symptoms, okay? Otherwise, you should not experience that. You should be just fine. Okay, great. So, back arch just a little bit. Again, one final time. Thank you. All right. Let's begin. I'm going to be going in and doing all this pulling and plucking in slow, easy motions so that then I can better focus on pulling each piece out effectively as possible. Okay? Good. I'm just trying to remove any excess energy, okay? Because once it's off of you, it can't reattach to you, though it can transfer onto a new host if it latches to me kind of long enough and kind of connects with the energy around me. A good send off there. What was that question, dear? Oh, yeah. So what I mean is that, like, most people don't know this, but with negative energy, it doesn't just bounce around from one person to another, necessarily. It kind of bounces to the next person that it connects with their energy. Or it might bounce right off that person. What it often comes down to is the similarity in energy. Because while we can create our own energy and create all these negative thoughts in our head and maybe internally build up these negative feelings, that negativity sometimes only starts and grows from a connection of a little bit of your negative thoughts and someone else's negative energy connecting to you. And maybe that'll fester and grow, or maybe you'll be able to, with how small the quantity of negative energy is, be able to dispel it. Yeah, so for example, the most simple way of explaining it, I find to people, is think of it as you're going about your day, you're having a lovely time, you're confident, you're happy, you're running errands, and someone gets mad at you maybe for no reason at all. Maybe when you're at the grocery store, maybe other people are upset in a traffic jam. But you don't let it bother you. And it kind of bounces right off you. And it doesn't stick to you. You don't fester in that frustration along with that other person's negative energy, negativity. And so that's when the negative energy isn't connecting with you, when it bounces off someone else. Your energy doesn't match it, or doesn't match it, and so is dispelled off you. But the opposite is also true. If someone were to already be almost on the verge, maybe having a bad day, or they're just doing okay, but they let that negativity get to them, then that negative energy has clung on to them and can grow, fester. You know how it goes from there. Okay, how are you feeling now, dear? Oh, that's so great to hear. So lighter, less pain. Fantastic. How is it feeling spread out over your back and your lumbar sections here? Is there any part that is more sore than the others, or is it kind of equally having lesser pain in every section? Okay, that's great to hear. So I think I'm going to go in finally, and to relieve you of these last bits of aches and pains, I'm going to be going in and doing the plucking, okay, of all this negative energy, okay? So it'll be a little bit faster, a little bit lighter, and then you should be clear of all that negative energy. The plucking is the fun part. I also get to see my clients often start to smile or look at least less tense and in pain as they did when they first walked in the door. So it makes me very happy with my job and with what I'm doing. right in. Pluck some spots along your spine here, on the outer edges. Good. Okay, and tell me how you're feeling now, dear. Yeah, I can see that your shoulders, your back, everything, you're so much less tense throughout it all. That's fantastic. Okay, I'm just gonna go through, pluck, 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 any last little bits that I feel and see here. Pluck, 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 pluck. Then we should be good to do our final assessment and send you home. So glad you're here. Five, four, three, two, one. Alright, dear, you can stand back up for me, turn around. Yeah, give that back a big old stretch. And how are you feeling? Oh, I'm so glad to hear. That's amazing. Okay. Could you do some stretches for me? Light, don't overdo yourself. I know it feels pretty amazing to be moving without pain. Oh, yeah. Don't you worry, dear. That's what I do. That's my job. I'm just gonna need you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you do that, yeah, just gently like that. Yes, I can see that you've got so much more movement and mobility happening. Oh, that's great. Yeah, and your shoulders and everything, if you move those around, those are okay. Can you twist gently, but can you twist for me? Good. Good. Lean to the your left. Lean to your right. Good. Okay. Well, first thing is don't overdo it. Take it easy, but you can relish in how much better you're feeling. Okay. And so, could you tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the least painful, 10 being the most painful, what your pain is at now? Wow, that's amazing. Okay. Yeah, I was hoping it'd at least be above a 6, but here it's that high is amazing. So glad. So there's essentially no remaining pain in there at all. That's so great, dear. Good. And so the lumbar section was all good. What about the upper and midsection of your back? Here and here, the cervical and the thoracic. Those were the sections I think, especially in the thoracic, you were saying there was a little bit of pain, but it wasn't too unbearable. Okay. Yes, okay. Yeah, so that could be just a little bit of tension and the negativity collecting because of how bad your lower back was. So what I would recommend to you is keep an eye on this pain over the next couple days. Call back into the clinic if by next Wednesday, the pain in those sections of your back are still there, then let me know. Also, please call in if at any point the pain does come back in your lower back, especially within the next couple of weeks, because that could be a sign that maybe we missed some, maybe it's just a reoccurring situation that we're going to have to figure out together. Okay? Alright. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Doing one final look over of you here, making sure you are all set, that I'm seeing no tension or pain, and that you don't walk out of here feeling sore or anything. It's all good. Okay. Alright, well, that is fantastic, dear. I'm so glad to have helped you out so immensely. I hope that if you're ever in pain again, which I hope you don't have, but I hope that if you do have any tension or pain, that you can come back into me and see me about any of this back issues, okay? Yes, okay. Well, I'm glad I was able to remove all that negative energy from you. I hope you'll come back. Not at all, but if I do see you again, I hope that you are in a better state, okay? Okay. Alright, well, thank you again, dear, so much, and I will see you later. Okay, take care now. Bye-bye.